Good day to you, gentlemen. I have decided to take on board the fact that the forums are going a bit quiet recently. So I'm going to make a bunch of videos from my garage, and this is going to be to do with the phrase so often used on TS, especially late at night, the tank of win. Well, the tank of win to me is a tank that you play well. If you're really struggling, if you're having a day when endless games are just landslide losses and then the occasional landslide victory, because nothing seems even, then go and find a tank of win. And like I say, that's a tank that you play well. Or hopefully a lot of people, or at least some people, or at least anybody really, that would be nice, that actually gets to watch these videos will be people that don't join us as often on TS, and hopefully I can give you a little bit of information and a little bit of insight into the tanks we do play a lot in the platoon sort of arena of people that pick up with each other. When we go through tier 6, there'll be a lot of tanks that get played in Stronghold, so those of you that don't join us in Stronghold or are slowly building your garage up towards tier 6 might get an insight to what lines is best to follow, because we will get there. I don't have too many tier 5s, so we'll be on to tier 6 pretty quick. This is the start of my garage. Now it's tier 4. Obviously I'm someone that's played the game quite a lot, so I don't really play a lot of the lower tiers anymore. I do tend to free XP through them, so I'm not the greatest person to ask about like tier 1s, 2s and 3s. However, at tier 4 there is one immediately obvious tank of win to those of us that have played it, and that's this guy. It's the Keiho. It's a Japanese light tank. It's a tank that I've had so many platoon games in that have been incredible, whether it's been of the variety of medals, Brothers in Arms, Top Gun, Confederate, Crucial Contribution. This light tank is quite exceptional. It's got a reasonably good view range, and it couples that with a reasonably good camo rating. However, it's not hugely fast for a light tank, or hugely agile. It does a little bit more damage than I actually like, because when you come across them and start getting hit by them, you start to think, hang on a minute, little tier 4 light tank is drilling me a new one. Well, that's the Keiho. It kind of plays more like a light medium. It's not really quick enough, but it packs a punch, and it can pack it at a relatively fast rate of fire. It's also got a -10 gun depression. It's got no armour. It's kind of like the multi-tool really. This is a tier 5 game where I'm going to fire quite a bit of gold. I don't really care because it's tier 5 with a few tier 6s. But I'll fire standard in it all day long at tier 4, and if the tier 5s aren't too heavily armoured, it'll get standard all day long as well. Never be precious about gold in a tier 4 because you'll generally, especially in a Keiho, as long as you do damage, you'll pay for all that ammo you fire for sure. The Keiho is the all-round tank of choice and tank of win at tier 4 amongst quite a few people in OG, and that's because it's not really difficult to play. It's not like certain tanks where you have to exploit some part of that tank being really good, whether it's like an AT2's armour or a TD's slipperiness and overpowered gun. No, none of that. None of your SU-85 broken tactics here. The M8A1 tier 4 tank destroyer for the Americans used to be, in my eyes, one of the best tier 4 tanks there was. It's been nerfed heavily, and that leaves that space for being the best tank of win possibly in the game, but certainly at tier 4 to this guy, the Keiho. It can move around a map. It can change flanks more than once in any battle within reasonable time constraints. Those are things you can't do in a Matilda. So once you make your mind up in a lot of tanks at tier 4 where you're going to go, what you're going to do, that's exactly how you're going to end up. This guy, if I really wanted to shoot around the flanks, I could do that quite simply, but I just thought I'd try and see if I could get one of the quickest games out and most recent games out and show you that. I've probably got about 70, 75 replays of Keiho's. Nearly all of them are in a platoon. Some of them are epic, and very few of them are really bad, because, like I say, it doesn't take a whole lot of playing or exploiting or knowing what to do with it. It's just a case of move around, keep in cover, and use that really lovely gun. And that's pretty much it, really. You don't rely on this tank for its armour. You rely on it to move somewhere, spot something, shoot, run, keep doing that, but not like a standard light tank. A standard light tank where you're going to get spotted and drilled apart because you can't really fight back. Well, this thing does. This thing fights back. If it gets around any of the tier 6s that were in this game, whether it be the KV-85 or the SU-100 that's just died, it will tear them apart. So there you go. If you don't have a Japanese tank, this is a great place to get to. It's not going to cost you a huge amount of XP or time to get there, because it's only tier 4, and it is, I would say, in my eyes, one of the best tanks of Win.